Shout out to Kop-Ish.
Shout out to Kopish,
keep
guys.
all the good work
the
up.
two legends, Emil Heskey, Howard Gill. Can't get much better than that, guys. Yeah. You know what to do now. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm with legends, guys.
Kop-Ish.
Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome to a surprise Arsenal versus Liverpool preview, should I say. I have to have respect. They are the home team. It's going to be a bit different today. We're going to be doing something tactically. And who better if we're going to be talking tactics from Arsenal than James? It's a pleasure, bro. We've been meaning to do this for a while. Big up yourself, bro. Welcome to Kop-Ish, man.
Mate, thank you. You're too kind. And look, thank you, man. I'm excited about this. Should be good. I'm excited about the game. Like, I'm really excited about the game. And it's not some, deluded, we're going to slap up Liverpool thing. It's nothing to do with that. It's just these are the games we want to be a part of. So it's great to be doing this show. And yeah, let's talk some tactics. It'll be good, man, because Liverpool have been tactically fascinating recently. And I've been paying, a lot of attention to what Arsenal do. So, yes, it'll be good. I'm excited.
Yeah, man, let's get straight into it, man. Big up everyone who's jumping in. Make sure you smash the like button on your way in, people. And big up, I see a couple of people who's with me over on Troops' channel as well. Love for the love, people. Right. Now, I just quickly did this setup before because you kind of have a 4-3-3 just like us, right? It is kind of. I mean, is there anything that you would say positionally would be different from the start with the Arsenal team, or is that pretty much how you
we're really interesting tactically because we seem to have different shapes for different phases. So, like in pure build-up, so what are we saying? Arsenal are the team on the left, yeah. So, I mean, Zinchenko, who I guess would be the number 5 there, he's always moving inside. And then the 3 defenders, literally there alongside 6. And the 3 defenders basically form that back 3 and build up. So what we end up getting is this kind of, 3-2-4-1 shape or 3-2-5 shape. And that's often been the way we've been trying to build up. That's kind of our main shape. We started that last season. Now, in fairness, I think teams have clocked onto it. And so we're trying to mix things up by getting, Zinchenko to sometimes build up a bit wider. And then we're often getting so number 5 will sometimes go wider back into the typical left back position. Okay. And then if you shuffle the 6 sort of to the left a little bit, Declan Rice, and then number 8, Ødegaard, he drops in more alongside Rice as well in build up. Okay. So we've been kind of mixing it up because. So
would he become more like where would this 8 go then? Would he just start to float around kind of?
When that's Havertz, he's floating in around Jesus. He's sometimes in possession, one of the highest up the pitch because Jesus drops in as well. So we've been kind of mixing it up recently. And I think it's kind of 2 reasons. A, Havertz isn't great in build up, if we're honest. He's not a big pass and move player. He is more a final third action player, getting on the end of things. So it readdresses the balance rather than having Ødegaard as the highest player. But also, I think Zinchenko being found out a little bit means we're trying to almost not make the pitch so congested and actually build up a little bit wider. So that's been interesting how we've mixed that up a little bit recently.
Okay, I mean it's quite strange because we're quite similar with regards to the inverted situation. So what's crazy is we've actually even been doing it from left back, which is crazy. So take for example our last game. Yeah. Joey, who's obviously a natural centre back, who's been playing right back and left back to an absolutely exceptional level this season.
Yeah,
he's the one who's been inverting inside, as you've been doing with Zinchenko, because we know we'd normally do it with Trent. Yeah. But what's crazy is because Salah hasn't been there, our forwards have kind of been a little bit more tucked in rather than wide. Salah does hug, even though obviously, he makes those outside to in runs so well, and that's why he gets so many goals. But he actually normally does stay quite, I think maybe in the last, say, year to a year and a half, he's been hugging the touchline a lot more, staying wide, and then he'll make the late runs afterwards. But with Jota or Gakpo, who've been playing on the right, or Diaz, they've been a little bit more narrower. They haven't been as wide. So we haven't had that width from them. But what has happened is Bradley now has been the one who's been bombing up and down this right now and providing so much width. It's been absolutely beautiful to see just how well this youngster's been doing. And then the crazy thing is that Szoboszlai, or whoever the other right-sided eight, has a bit of a defensive responsibility, a little bit like Jordan Henderson used to, where it was kind of like his job to, like, you know, think a little bit more about the protection while Bradley's going up and down. And cool about us is both of our number 8s, because Jones even ironically spoke about it. I don't know if you saw the post-game interview after the Chelsea game.
No,
and he said that if he can defend, anybody can defend, because Klopp said he never thought he was going to turn him into a defender, but he has, because Jones's role on that other side is to be super aggressive in the press, super aggressive at you know, breaking down that space, but also he's brilliant at getting back in and being a bit more defensive. And there are even times, believe it or not, when McAllister or whoever's the 6 might pop forward for a bit for whatever, and Jones will actually slip in and just do a number 6 role for a split second. And he actually did it really well at the Euros for England, the under 21s as well. Like, he was literally playing in that role. So we do play a little bit similar to you in the inverted role, but I think we have a more marauding right back in Bradley than you do, because I'm not mistaken, you don't really attack with your right back anymore. Last season you did, but what's happened with that? Why don't you do that anymore?
By the way, I love everything you said, because it means that I'm not an idiot when I'm watching Liverpool, because everything you're saying, I'm like, okay, good, this is what I'm seeing, so that's good. Yeah, on the Ben White thing. So we were playing Tottenham. We were playing Antonio Conte's Tottenham. We know what that's like to break down. And we were up against them. And first half, we went in 1-1. We were the better team, but we just weren't quite finding that something else. So the second half in that game, Ben White started overlapping. And the thing is, he's overlapping from basically almost a centre-back starting position. So he's charging right up the pitch to make that run. And the thing is, there was a funny TikTok that actually went viral of someone, but anyway, the joke is that Ben White has so much ground to cover to, like, do that overlap around Saka. This season, I think Arsenal are trying to hold their set position more, their set defensive shape. So when we lose the ball in transition, we're better equipped to deal with it. We're better equipped to actually then snuff it back, win it, and go again. Now, last season, I don't think you can underestimate how much Anfield scarred Arteta. He's been scarred by it twice. The 5-1 defeat, which, by the way, this match is going to be almost 10 years to the day from that 5-1 when you've fallen up after 20 minutes. So we need we need some anniversary revenge. Let me say that. And also, by the way, a great thing on that is we were 5 points ahead of you going into that game in the league table. And obviously you won and dragged yourselves in it. And, we all know what happened. But the point is, like, that was the start of Liverpool kind of in title races. And we need a bit of that ourselves. So anyway, I digress. The Anfield game, the second one that scarred him, I think, was being 2-0 up, playing the football we did. And then it basically ended up being 30 minutes of us totally and utterly dominating, one of the best 30 minutes of football I've ever seen us play. And then the last 60 was backs against the wall, defend. And from 2-0 up, we were lucky to come out with a draw. And I think Arteta has looked to address that by signing Timber, but he's been injured, converting Tomiyasu to more of a left back. He's always respected Salah and what Liverpool do. He played Tomiyasu in the game at the Emirates last year against you guys. And now I think if you can't have the personnel to cover more, the athletes to cover, I think he at least wants the players in the right positions to be set so that we don't get run over like that and we don't lose comfortable controlling positions like we've had before. West Ham happened the week after that, the Southampton 3-3. So I think it's the way we ended last season that has changed the way Arteta is going to approach a game like this and has approached throughout the season.
I mean, and what's interesting, bro, about what you were saying, especially about the, having all that ground to cover as well, is we are quite flexible in our tactics, which is what I love. So as well as inverting inside, which is what Joey's been doing really well, Joey also sometimes makes the runs up the field, and he's also a threat to be able to almost like come inside the way one of our wingers would. And he's getting closer and closer, bro. Like, I really hope his first goal is on Sunday, bro. Like, he's getting closer, you know what I mean? He's becoming a bit of a threat. So, and what's brilliant about when we do that is that Bradley, who's playing now, who I do think will be the one who will play in this game, he's actually very good at defending. And it's allowing us to almost pick which wing back we want to kind of attack from, depending on how things are going and what, you know, moment of the game there is. I think the only thing that we get a little bit concerned about as Liverpool fans whenever Joey goes forward is that if for some reason Jones isn't able to drop in, Diaz isn't that switched on defensively, and neither is Gakpo whenever they play. And that's always the reason why, you know, it's a little bit of a worry whenever Gomez bombs forward. I think that's why he doesn't do it as often, and he really picks and chooses when he does it, because you got to be careful. Jones, like I said, Jones is brilliant at doing it, but if he's preoccupied at another part of the field or something like that, Diaz and Gakpo, the two that play left, and it's crazy. Nunes is really good at it. And I think that's one of the reasons why Klopp likes to actually play Nunes on the left, because funny enough, even though he's naturally a number 9, he's actually really good at noticing that he has to get back in and he has to track the runner. And he's got that kind of enthusiasm to do it. And I think it goes unnoticed with a lot of people when he plays left side, how much Nunes does actually come and help do a lot of the defending and almost allow Gomez to have a little bit more freedom when he's going forward. So the Ben White scenario is a little interesting. You know, because I almost wish he did go forward a lot more like he used to, because it would leave that space in behind. But he seems a lot more defensively solid now, as you were saying.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, when we're talking about tactical stuff here, that there's so much that either isn't quantifiable by stats or that we just don't have access to, because these unbelievable stats teams in big clubs will know. So you're talking about Nunes, right? Like they will have so much data and footage and insight on the work Nunes does to facilitate the team as well. And there are players like Granit Xhaka is a great example. When I tell you for 6 years, I didn't know what this guy did in our team and why every manager loved him. And once we got good, I saw it, because suddenly you could see how everyone benefited from the positions he picked up, the cover he did for others, or whatever. Now, obviously, Xhaka is not a direct comparison to Nunes, but there are certain players that, often you can see on the ball quality and you can see certain things. But then there's the unquantifiables that, you know, pure footage and real football people will see in a way that I don't really understand. The other thing I want to say about Liverpool is the inverted thing. I was quite lazy in my analysis of Liverpool, because I see Trent used to, you know, he tuck inside as well. And my first thought was, okay, yeah, he's doing the Zinni thing from right back. And I think that was true for a little bit as you evolved. But now, like, he's a straight up quarterback. He's often in between Van Dijk and Konate, saying, just give me the ball so I can ping it. And he basically did that against us in the Anfield game, where Salah made a great run and he played one of the most unbelievable passes I've ever seen, you know, to put. And a lot of people were critical of Zinchenko. Oh, why didn't you deal with the header? I was like, do you know how immaculate that pass was? You think Trent would have played it if he didn't know he could get it over Zinni at that point? Like, and that has been interesting. And I mean, you said Conor Bradley's going to start. I
think he will. I think he will. Yeah.
So will Trent play in midfield, or will he be on the bench?
I think if you ask me, I think Klopp will have him as a tactical go-to off of the bench for this one.
Interesting.
With him not being fully fit, I could be totally wrong, but I think with him not being fully up to speed, he may think Bradley's earned his right to play. Bradley is very good up against Martinelli. I mean, anything can happen in any game, but in the game at the Emirates in the FA Cup, he was brilliant against.
He was.
I mean, Martinelli's a better player now than he was then, because he's got more confidence than he did then. So it could be different in that regard. I think because as you said, what would be perfect if, say, for example, the game is 1-1 with an hour gone, and we're trying to get to a point now where we can push on and win the game. What would be brilliant about bringing on Trent, as you're saying, is it's crazy, because what Trent will do is, as you said, he'll pick up a pocket of space here in between the defenders where you can't really mark him which
No, you
is what's
can't.
so cool about it, because you can't really sacrifice your 9, who's obviously trying to, do for you like what he's doing and preoccupy the back 3 at that space and time. For example, if Havertz was trying to, chase him around the place, all he's doing is leaving a massive gap in your midfield. So it's almost like the perfect scenario of him do it. But what's also cool about what he can do is, once he's played a long, like, marauding pass, like say he's played a brilliant ball to Mose, who's trying to make a run in there, and then we've all pushed up, and we're all running in. Szoboszlai, what he does, he'll normally pull out here and create a triangle.
Yeah.
And then it gives Trent the opportunity to pretty much go anywhere he wants in that move. Like, I've literally seen Trent, depending on what's going on, I've seen him follow the run and come in and score a goal here. I've seen him make a run out here. I've seen him stay where he is. Like, literally, he has the freedom almost, for a degree, to, roam the park. Obviously, we can't lose the ball. If we lose the ball, for example, if you look at that scenario, if you had that, if you was to win the ball back in that scenario, all that space is there, which is why a lot of people will always say, Trent's crap at defending, because they forget that the space has been vacated by us trying to do what we're doing in an attacking sense. And it's the risk. It's the high risk, high reward kind of scenario. Do you know what I mean? And that's why a lot of the time Trent is left wondering, having to make those runs. Do you know what I mean? To get back in.
And actually,
but it's interesting.
It is interesting. I want to give Klopp some credit, because do you know what's sad from a Klopp perspective? There's not many things that are, right, because that guy's achieved it all. But almost he's kind of spoken about as just a motivator and a man manager. And actually, he's very underrated tactically. He's been, especially this season, people are really starting to notice, but he's always been tactically fascinating, from the way he built his midfield 3 to the use of the front 3 as well. You mentioned Henderson covering at right back so Trent could bomb on. But I remember the start of, I think it was the season you went for the quadruple. Now, it didn't last long, because if I'm not mistaken, Elliott picked up a long-term injury. But you started the season with Harvey Elliott in the right central midfield space, with Trent and Salah. And then what you had was Salah coming inside, Trent inverting a little bit, not as much as he does now, but tucking in. And then Elliott, because he was a midfielder / right wing hybrid, he used to play on the right and stuff, he would then drift out to tuck out wide. And I remember a team you battered earlier that season, and I was watching him pick up these space out on the right hand side so that Trent and Salah could do their best work centrally. And I thought, that's clever. Like, that's really clever. And I mean, De Bruyne has popped out wide. I hadn't really seen Pep do it that much. Certainly, we didn't have Zinchenko, so we hadn't seen Zinni do that kind of thing. And Klopp has gone under the radar as just like how much he actually has tried to reinvent Liverpool tactically. It hasn't always worked because of injuries or whatever. But, people are almost taking notice now because you've done this big midfield rebuild. It's like he's actually been preparing for this a lot longer than I think people give him credit for.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, bro. And based on what you're saying as well, what the beauty was, and a lot of people who pay attention to the tactics will know, what we've done down the right side of our field is always create this triangle. Always create this triangle. And the beauty of the triangle is it's flexible. If he goes here, he goes here, he goes here. If he's back here, if he makes a run, like, it's such a flexible triangle that's worked so well. And it's what we do now. This will be Szoboszlai, this will be Salah, this will be Trent. They do it so well, bro. They rotate and they keep that triangle. And what it allows you to do is just pop off 1-2s within that triangle. And what you're doing is you're giving the left back an absolute nightmare. You're making the winger have to come back and help. And you're drawing somebody out of the midfield to get over there, which creates a space that then this number 8 can occupy, which is normally Jones at the moment. So you're right. It's amazing. This is why I knew you was the right guy to talk tactics with as well, because you pay attention to the opposition. It's not even just Arsenal. You pay attention to what we do as well. So it's a beautiful triangle that we have over on that side. And we used to do it a little bit similarly on the left when we had Mane, we had Gini, and we had Robinson. That we used to do it a little bit, but we did predominantly do it a lot more on the right with Henderson, Salah, and Trent. Yeah.
Well, the thing about your left-hand side as well, once Thiago really cemented that spot, you almost didn't. I might be wrong about this, but it felt like Liverpool didn't really want to move them around as much as the right-hand side, because Why move Thiago from the central midfield where he's unreal? Why move Mane from nearer to goal where he's unreal? And why deny Robertson that chance to overlap? Like, you can see Salah's adjusted to playing as a touchline winger brilliantly, not just as an inside forward, but doing everything you mentioned earlier in this stream. You know, Trent can overlap, he can underlap, and whether it's Henderson, Szoboszlai, Elliott, whoever, they can all operate in wider and central areas. So it makes sense for those rotations and, you know, altering of positions. But that left-hand side, you don't want to do that because it's like, I don't want to see Thiago picking up the ball in the left, you know, on the left touchline, get him in the middle to run that game. And so you almost had this asymmetrical kind of shape at times, but that's how football's gone now. You know, City's right-hand side don't do the same thing as City's left-hand side. Gundogan was very box-to-box and De Bruyne would float. Like, they would do different things. And it's funny. It's interesting how the game's just evolved so much tactically, but only certain managers get credited with it. And I don't really know why that's the case, because Klopp's done a lot in this field as well.
Yeah, I think because we've had 2 seasons where we had, due to circumstances, a drop off that was way bigger than we should have. When we were defending the title, we obviously had every defender drop out by Christmas time. When we had that massive crisis in defense, we ended up getting 3rd, but really we should have retained our title that year. We're top of Christmas. And then obviously last season, you know, I think a lot of people underestimate just how much the trying to chase the quad took it out of us.
I agree.
You know, the last bit that was in the legs of the players like Henderson and Fabinho, we played 63 games that season. It was unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? And
momentum can carry you through that. But almost the summer break, that's when it all seeps in. You ever listen, I go to the gym once a year, right? But I still know this feeling. you ever go to the gym where you play a game of football and you feel fine, you get through it all right, and then it's the day after you're like, I'm dead.
You need to lift your own leg out of the bath. You're like, what the fuck is that?
You had like a 12-month period of pure lactic acid and pure just like, my body can't do this. And you recharged and went again, and are going again right now. But I hear it. I think a lot of people on reflection give Liverpool the respect now for all right, we'll let you off last year because we know what that quad run did. And rightly so.
Yeah. And the other crazy thing, just when you was talking about Thiago, even though what you're saying is correct, because it was Klopp, he still used to do a lot more grinding than we wanted. We'll be like, Thiago, stop running around like he was still pressing. He was still, and it was like, your body's not built for this, bro. I think that's why his hip went, James. I swear to you, I think that's why his hip went. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's already doing the body swivels and all that stuff. It's like, bro, stop diving into challenges and you know what I mean? But obviously within Klopp, because he said Klopp taught him how to run. He was 29 years old and he never knew how to run. He just used to control the game and do it at a walking pace. And he said Klopp taught him how to run. So even though what you're saying is correct, he still had to do the hard yards. Do you know what I mean? Because Klopp just demands that. So I know obviously you're going to have to go soon. And again, absolute pleasure having you on, bro. We're going to have to do these tactics again, definitely. What would you say would be your starting lineup if you were going to predict it? And tactically, do you think Arteta is going to stick to his principles, or do you think you might go a little bit more attacking, a little bit more defensive? Like, how do you think it will go for you guys in this one?
Okay, I've got to say unpopular opinion, which is that I think if we're to win this game, we need to do what we did in that first half in the cup, but take our chances. And you know, you're a Liverpool fan, you might see it differently, but I honestly thought we blew you away in that first half of the cup. Like, I'm so disappointed we didn't take those chances.
You were definitely the better team.
Definitely. Man, winning the ball high up the pitch. You know, if Havertz gets that cutback right, that header on goal, like the shots, you know, those kind of speculative shots that they end up looking like shit chances because we didn't make more of them. But I'm like, you're good enough. Thank you, Alejandro. It's very kind, man. And big up Gunnar Lee. I see him in the chat as well.
Yeah. Big up Lee.
So sorry, where was it? So I think we need to come out fast. We need to do a Liverpool to Liverpool. We've not really done that this season to anyone. but we need to try and have that kind of half, because I think we need to unsettle you. I know you were brilliant. You were breathtaking against Chelsea in the first half, but the theme has been your first halves are slow and your second halves are brilliant. You know, and that's what we need to capitalize on that, because I'm not sure you've quite shaken off that trend. So my 11 would be Raya keeps his place. Ramsdale did well against you, but Raya keeps his place. White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko. Now Zinchenko is a liability defensively. I hear it. On the ball though, if we're to take advantage of the space you open, that you leave open, we need our best players exploiting that, and Zinni does that. So Zinni in there. I'd go Ødegaard, Jorginho, Rice. Give Rice more of a box-to-box role. Let him get involved as a pure out-and-out central midfielder. Jorginho sitting to just bring his experience. I thought he was very good against you guys in the cup, actually. I thought Jorginho played well in that.
He did. He played well.
Yeah, and then I'd have Saka, Jesus, Martinelli. I wouldn't have Havertz. I wouldn't have Smith Rowe. If we need something,
I'm surprised at that one. Most Arsenal fans I've spoken to want Smith Rowe to start this one.
He didn't blow me away against Forest. I know a lot of Arsenal fans were really happy and convinced by the performance. I wasn't disappointed. I thought he did fine. Like I didn't think there was anything, and I just think let's opt for a partnership in, you know, Jorginho at the base with Rice that has actually done good things, like winning Seville, beat Man City this season, went to the bridge, went 2-0 down, but we pulled that back. Like that's what I think they're a more tried and tested partnership, and they give Ødegaard more license to press and get up the pitch and do his thing. So that's what I'd go with. And we're going to need Rice to dominate that midfield, man. Like Liverpool midfields are not easy to get a hold of. And if there's one player, not in this league, but like if there's one player who physically can match that, it's Declan Rice. Give him the freedom of the field to get a hold of that midfield. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're not up against each other literally, but it's McAllister versus Rice in the midfield, right?
Yeah.
To try and have the domination in there, get the tackles in, do that, you know what I mean? Do those breaking of the line passes and all that. It's going to be very interesting, which is something McAllister is just getting better and better at every game. Like his defensive side of the game is improving, while his passing is just immaculate. When it comes to creation from that deeper role, he is almost becoming like a quarterback. He's growing into that role so well, and it's crazy because. Sorry, say that again, Mo.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no, that's cool.
Top, you know, we were just saying like he's not rated tactically as much as he should be. I saw you guys starting the season with McAllister at 6. I went top 4 race for them. He's been brilliant. He's growing into that, and that again is something that Klopp saw that others haven't. So yeah, he deserves mad credit for that.
And the crazy thing is, when we beat you at the Emirates, it was Endo, and unfortunately, he's not here now. And he was doing a brilliant defensive job. Like I actually think he outmatched Rice in that game from a defensive point of view. He was brilliant. So now we haven't got that kind of, you know, that dogged play in there. I think we've got to be a little bit more possession based than what teams would expect to be at the Emirates. Normally you dominate possession, but with McAllister in the team, I think we're going to have to try and buck the trend and be more possession based at the Emirates, which is going to be difficult. But, you know, this is the intriguing thing about it, man. It's why this game's going to be so interesting, man. So before I let you go, bro, let the people know where they can find you, and then the score prediction, bro.
Cool. So I'm on AFTV. Go find me there. I do have a channel. It's called James B, but it's James Gooniverse. James's Gooniverse. It's my little world of Arsenal. So you can go find. I'm talking about other clubs on that channel, which is nice. I did a video on Mo Salah back in the autumn about how he's reinvented his role. So I do like talking about Liverpool as well. Although I did also make a video on how Liverpool weren't ready for the title after you drew with Luton. And let's just say I've nearly deleted that a few times. But hey, you stand by what you say. And look, you'll all call me delusional, and I'll probably be wrong. But I really believe that Arsenal need to make a big statement, and they can. And I'm not going to change my prediction because I'm on a Liverpool channel. I've been saying a 3-1 win for Arsenal. I know, and I hear it. But we have these moments in the season where we can sort of flip the switch and surprise a team, and we haven't had it yet this year. And I'm hoping we can have it this Sunday. But of course, I don't have to put my life savings on it, so it's easy to make that prediction.
Boy, I mean, I really hope that you're wrong, James. I really hope that you're wrong.
I'll take a 1-0, 1-0, Alisson own goal. I don't care. I just want 3 points on the weekend. Like, let's see. I think Arsenal need to flex and prove that they got something about them. I think people are talking a lot about this title race as Klopp versus Guardiola again. I totally hear it. Why wouldn't you talk about it in that way? But I want Arsenal to prove that we are a part of that conversation and we can make a statement this weekend. But if I'm wrong, listen, at least I back my team, eh? That's what it's all about.
Yeah, that is very true. And I don't blame you, do you know what I mean? Arsenal aren't out of it. They're not out of it, you know what I mean? I think a loss may put you out of it, but right now, there's no way Arsenal are out of this title race. You might be the third horse in the race, but you're definitely 100% in the race.
I agree.
That's
if we don't win on the weekend, though, we're not winning it. So
I hear that. 5 points behind City's a lot. It's a
5
lot,
behind you,
know what I mean?
5 behind City. That's if we draw. If we lose, it's 5 behind City, 8 behind Liverpool. Nah, that's title done for me.
Well, bro, it's been an absolute pleasure. We will definitely have to do this again when we got more time and we can break things down. So people, you would definitely see James back on the channel very, very soon. And make sure you go and show your love and support to him as well, guys. I'll put a link in the description to his channel. You all know where AFTV is. I don't even need to tell you lot where that is. You all know. If you don't, make sure you get over there and subscribe as well. And yeah, until next time, it's been a pleasure. Big up everyone. And we'll see you on the other side, man.
Thank
Peace.
you, mate. Thank you.